bunch of students from previous years, including myself, when I took this class over 10 years ago in the Slack. A few reminders, weekly updates. Hopefully you all are having fun with those. I hope you're not waiting till Friday night to do them and get some little discipline. Do it early, but make sure you're sending those in every week. They will be graded. I think we've been doing really well. Those grades are going in very quickly. Make sure you check on Canvas again. Who's doing South by Southwest crawl? Who's doing the? All right, we got a lot. You'll have a little bit of time to think about that. It's one of the best opportunities you'll get. It's super fun. You'll probably get a lot of great conversations for your company, and you'll meet some very interesting people. I always love coming by the Longhorn Startup section of the crawl. All right, agenda for tonight. We're in the welcome right now. We're gonna do guest mentor introductions. We have some really awesome guest mentors for you, as always. We're gonna do company updates. Every company will get to come up here, give a quick pitch, tell us what you worked on last week, what you're working on this week. And then we will break into mentor office hours and rock and roll from there. All right, so guest mentors. I know Bernie's here, so we're gonna start with Bernie, but if you don't mind kind of lining up over here, if you're here as a guest mentor, we're gonna have you give introductions. There's a few prompts that'll make it very easy for you, 90 seconds, and we will go from there. So, Mr. Bernie Brenner, we'll give it to you. Thanks for being here.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. So Bernie Brenner, as he said, I'm currently the founder of a software company here in Austin called Rollick. We develop and sell software to large manufacturers in the recreation space, so Winnebago, Nautique, and all the fun brands, Polaris, BRP, are all clients of ours. We have 135 now and still cranking along. Before that, I founded a company in 2005 called TrueCar, which went public in 14, and then I left in 16 and started this. Before that, I was at Carfax. Before that, I started a company in internet security, privacy, identity theft, and sold to Experian. So I've got a lot of experience. I've also had one that crashed and burned, so I've got all that as well. So can completely relate to the phases that you're in right now, and it's so much fun. Startup is like the best mode that I love anyway of all the experiences that I've had. I'd say my specialty. Let's see, why are you invited? So my specialty is more around strategic partnerships. I built most of my companies as a startup, aligning with a really, really big company, the concept I call the sumo. And so anytime you need, or when I come around, if there's questions around aligning with a strategic partnership, how do you get them even though you're so small? And I'm talking about cutting a deal with the Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000. That's where I have majority of my success in doing things like that. So happy to talk about that and think strategically and try and figure out who you could align with and then how you'd approach that potential partner. So that's what I can help with, that's why I'm invited, and I'm looking forward to spending time with everyone.
Hey everybody, my name is Russell Hines. My background is semiconductor engineering. I studied UCS years ago. And the first startup I joined ended up going public and becoming a billion-dollar company. So I was like, holy smokes, startups are amazing. I want to get involved in these. And so I promptly went into real estate investing in the mid-'80s in Houston and built a portfolio of real estate investments, talked to people that I used to work with into investing in real estate. And then I got in touch with a friend of mine from college, and he was starting a company to build embedded memory compilers and system-on-chip designs. And so I joined his startup company and got more into sales and marketing, a little bit on the technical side. And son of a gun, that company ended up going public, so I was struck by my surprise. I was like, I really love startups now. And so I decided to start a enterprise software company with a friend. We built request management software for companies that were looking for sponsorships. And I started learning a supports and sponsorship. And that company took a long time to build. And so the other side of the startup story is it doesn't always go as quick and easy as you thought. It was 18 years to finally exit. Now I do investing. I think I was invited here because I was an early mentor and partner in Capital Factory. In fact, the first company we invested in was Spare Foot, and that ended up becoming a billion-dollar company. So I've got a sort of a good luck charm reputation. I can help you with strategy, with raising money, and just looking at things the way an investment is company, and just kind of help you nail down your thinking and your business. And I'm just naturally super interested and curious about all the technology and things that you guys are doing. I was very impressed with all the companies here.
Hey there, I'm Jason Kelly, and I am part of a 114-year-old startup. It's called IBM. And I lead a $12 million business that I started in the company. I start businesses with that company. I've done it for a number of years. Had a startup before I joined IBM, sold that, and have other storied past of starting other businesses. So that's what I do. I think that other than the fact that Josh and I haven't caught up, he's not here, so you all witnessed it. Jason Kelly is here. Josh isn't. All right. He and I haven't caught up. I'm here, as I said, because Josh and I haven't caught up, so I was invited. He and I were going to catch up. I was going to do some quick mentoring. I'm rolling out in about an hour, so hopefully I'll get to catch up with some of the great companies, because what I read, some of the cool stuff you're doing is really cool. So I was down with it. I currently lead all of our strategic partners and partnerships. I heard that all across globally, so in 170 countries for IBM Consulting, and that's the business I run. And I also work in our venture part of the company, so I buy companies. Our last acquisition was actually here in Austin. So that's what I do. What I help you with strategy, what I see in the market, what I like in the market. Any feedback you want, honest, unfiltered, and carefree kind of feedback. That's kind of other than that, that's it. Jason.
I'm Bill Babel. I've started a few companies, sold 4, had a few fail. Most recently, Pingboard, we sold the company last year. First company was an email hosting company. We sold that to Rackspace, which is down in Texas. All my career has been transactional and high volume businesses. So if you ever work on something that has like online sign-up, conversion rate optimization, that sort of thing, that's my area. Enterprise sales is different, not my area. Can also help a little with strategy and product. I'd say go-to-market is what I know these days. What else? I've invested in a few dozen companies, so I've seen a lot of things besides the companies I've built. And most of those too have been transactional, high volume type businesses. What else? I guess that's about it.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks to all of our guest mentors for being here. Any other guest mentors that haven't been before? All right, great. So let's move right along into the company updates. So whoever's going to pitch for the company, let's line up over here. And who wants to volunteer to go first? All right, right here. You're going to go first. Intern Nest. Everyone else, let's try to make it quick. Line up over here, and we'll rock and roll so we can do mentoring as soon as we can. I'm going to...
Hey everyone, my name is Avani Shopi and I'm with Internest today. A little bit about Internest is, this past summer I had the amazing opportunity to intern all the way in SF, which is a brand new location for me and my family. And one of the biggest kind of difficulties I had is I had no resources to help find housing or roommates in a brand new location. That's why we developed Internest itself. So my first major problem was that I wasn't able to find housing in a brand new location. So what Internet does is it congregates all the housing locations in one city and puts them in one space. So interns can find the best housing opportunity in that brand new city. The second issue I faced is I didn't know anyone in this brand new city. And Internet solves that issue as well. Through aggregating all the other interns in a brand new city, it allows them to find the best match for them and find a good roommate for them in a brand new city. So that's basically what Internet does. Right now we're selling B2B, and in order for that to succeed, we kind of need to go B2C at the same time. And so a little bit about what we accomplished this last week is we were able to fully develop the tech side of Internet. So Internet.net is about to be live on Wednesday. We fully developed the tech for all of it. And what we're going to accomplish this next week is a bit more on the marketing side. Our business guys started doing a couple of TikToks, and we also started marketing to a couple of businesses. So we hope to pursue that a little bit more in these upcoming weeks. And yeah, that's Internet. Thank you.
Hey, my name's Henry. I'm the founder and CTO of Scraps Audio. So I want to tell you a little bit about a house music producer called Cashew. Me and my co-founder spoke with him a while back, and he's pretty big. He's got 200,000 monthly Spotify listeners, but he's definitely still on the rise. And when we asked Cashew which of his tracks were his favorite, his answer was pretty surprising. He told us that all of the songs that he was most proud of have never been released. Either the label didn't want them, they just didn't align with his audience, or they were too experimental. He actually told us that he's got hundreds of fully finished tracks just sitting on his hard drive. And he's not alone. It turns out that for every released song, there are 2 to 3 fully finished tracks that will never see the light of day. At Scraps, we're trying to give those tracks a second life. We built a marketplace where artists can basically sell their unreleased music to other artists, and buyers can remix, rework, or simply release a track under their own name, turning unused music into a valuable asset. So now Cashew can monetize all of those unreleased tracks, and big artists with millions of monthly Spotify listeners are following suit on our platform, like West End and Wookie. We've also expanded to also support other music assets like templates, project files, sample packs, vocals. And in terms of traction, we've grown our marketplace to over 700 listed products across 500 registered sellers. And in terms of revenue, we've done 40,000 in GMV with no ad spend. So yeah, that's a little bit about my startup. This week, I spent a lot of time in Klaviyo, building out a seller registration flow, basically trying to remind sellers, or build an automation that would remind sellers to create listings. I did the same thing with buyers, kind of improving that flow, so adding more incentives and discounts, trying to improve our retention rate. I also worked on creating some video ads, so I don't have anything yet, but I've got some drafts that I'm working on. So this week, that's what I'm going to focus on. But yeah, that's it.
Hey everyone, my name is Zach, co-founder of Build. So a lot of people don't know this, but there are actually 500,000 professional CAD users, people who work with 3D models. My co-founder, Rambot, is actually one of them. These are product design engineers, manufacturing engineers, mechanical engineers who use CAD every day for most of their day. But despite this, CAD softwares haven't really changed in 2 decades. They're still using the same basic functions from the 2000s. So we're here to change that. We want to change the way people interact with CAD. Build is a software that is an AI agent that sits on top of CAD, and it kind of helps you. It helps you change the. It's an AI agent that helps you interact with CAD. So right now, last week, what did we do last week? So on Friday we met with, we went to a MedTech event. Bill was very thankful to have that, introducing us to the MedTech events. We talked to 3 potential customers, and also we talked to 8 other customers via calls, which got a lot of insights. We also talked our previous users who are using our product right now, and we found out that there's this report generation feature that they want. So we went ahead and built out this entire tool, and now we're releasing it this week. In terms of what we're going to do next week, we want to talk to 10 more users. So we're doing cold outreach on LinkedIn. We're going to events as well, so we want to hit 2 events this week. And also on the development side, we want to talk to our existing 3 users and see what their feedback on our report is.
Hi everyone, I'm Ivy. Imagine this. You're craving this rich, aromatic butter chicken dish from your favorite Indian restaurant. So you pull up the recipe, you get the ingredients, and then you see the spice list. Cardamom, marsala, turmeric. I don't have half of the spices that's on the spice list. And then I hesitate. Am I really gonna spend that $40 to buy a whole new spice pantry just for spices I'm only gonna use for a few times? And I ended up closed the tab and ordered takeout. And as I talked to more people, I realized I was not alone. A lot of young professionals, college students struggle with this issue because they don't have enough information or resources to get the right seasoning to cook the dish they want. So this is the solution that I came up with. Spiceful spice cards. So all the spices that you would need for this one dish are all selected and sealed into blister bubbles that are ready to be popped out into the pot. And make sure every single dish you make is with the best flavor with the least amount of hassle. So I actually made butter chicken over the weekend with the spice card. And all I had was just chicken, some yogurt, and tomato. And all I need to do is just to pop these into the pot. And the dish that I made is just as good as I had in the Indian restaurant, if not better. And the experience of cooking it with my friend was so much more meaningful as well. So Spiceful allows you to explore global cuisine with the least amount of hassle in your home kitchen. And over the last week, I was able to get a booth at the Water Lantern Festival, and I talked to a lot of different customers and conducted different rounds of customer interview to refine features and value proposition that are the most attractive to them. On the other hand, I worked on different designs of the product. And the third part is I worked on social media page, had Instagram, and I'm building a website to gain this initial brand visibility and work on different posts and videos to engage with people. And for next week, I'll be looking to building a prototype and iterating on the product design with these new models. And the second part is to looking into different manufacturing suppliers for early stages. And I guess my ask for this week is if you personally know someone who's interested in cooking, potential customer for this product, I would appreciate if you could let me know. And also if you know people who have manufacturing complex packaging experiences, that would be really helpful as well. And also the Instagram account is Spiceable, just letters, if you want to follow it. If you want to follow that. Thank you.
Hello. Hey everyone. My name is Akil Isbitla, and I'm the co-founder of WebSet. So what we're building is a platform that streamlines the content process, or the creative process. So imagine, obviously you guys are probably YouTubers or like content creators, so we'll give you some of the context. So a lot of these YouTubers, they target, scaling their channel, growing their content, and bringing everyone out there, right? The main goal is to, subscribers and that's kind of their primary job. That already in itself is a huge milestone. But with the issue of that is the logistical overhead that comes with scaling a channel, right? And with logistical overhead, that means you're managing a team, you're managing your content, you're scaling to, build or keep that traction consistent or grow it even more, right? So one issue with that is that you have all these editors that you're probably working with, where you have different ideas that you're coming with, and everything can be really disorganized and disjointed. So what we're building is a platform that streamlines all of your content creation process. Substack. So we are offering file management, collaboration, and everything such that you can produce all your videos in a streamlined manner in one place. So that's a little bit about Substack. And what did we do this week? Or last week? Last week we established a tab management system, and that
2 out of every 5 Americans will be affected by cancer at some point, and while there is tons and tons of resources out there, it is a maze of forms and websites and bureaucracy in order to get the correct resources that you need as a cancer patient. In fact, hospitals and nonprofits employ something called PHNs, which their specific job is to find these resources and give them to cancer patients. However, these employees are often underserviced. In fact, one of our partners, BCRC, has 4 PHNs for 400 patients. So it's hard to find effective and efficient ways to get you the resources that you need as a cancer patient. This is where Panacea comes in. We are the first patient-centric, AI-driven health platform. We scrape your EHR data, and we make personalized financial aid resources, support groups, and overall resources for cancer patients. So what have we accomplished this last week? We found 3 mentors for IRB studies that we're going to be attempting to push out next year. And we're still working on the for now. What are we going to accomplish this upcoming week? We are currently working on an LLM to make the recommendations. So anyone that has any experience in LLMs.
Hello everyone, my name is Harrison. I'm a co-founder of GameTrix. I spent most of my life playing video games, and I eventually fell down the rabbit hole of esports. And for those who don't know what esports is, it's really similar to traditional sports in the sense that you have a professional player playing a game with fans who watch and support these players, with the major difference being that instead of a field and a ball, it's a video game and keyboard. The esports industry has also gained a lot of traction recently with an annual predicted growth rate of 20%. And to put that into perspective, American football has a predicted growth rate of just 7%. So what's the problem with esports? So we noticed that there's an abundance of data recorded after every game, but a lack of accessible analytics. This means that if any fan or professional team wanted to understand the underlying causes behind a player's performance, they have to shell out their own time and money to run the numbers and draw their own conclusions. It's especially important for professional teams at the highest level to be able to streamline their training. The ability to quickly scout new players, predict matchups, and recognize habits can easily make or break a team. And that's where we come in with an AI-powered platform that can connect millions of data points, generate analytics, and display it in a dashboard or communicate directly with natural language processing. So what did we do last week? Last week we created our user homepage. We went through the entire development of a wireframe, design, and code. We're still working on adding more data onto the initial homepage. We also continue sending out emails and code DMs to esports teams, players, and just generally interested people, which garnered 6 people onto our waitlist. Our goals for next week, we hope to start development on our AI models, continue outreach to the teams and players, and we also hope to start developing our player pages so that people can actually look up their favorite players and find out more about them. And then for any requests, if you're at all interested in analytics for esports, we'd love to hear what you would like to see in a product like ours. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Vi, and I'm the CEO of Pushstart. So according to the NHTCA, there's a drunk driving accident every 36 minutes in the US, which equates to around 13,000 deaths globally. We all came here around 4 o'clock, right? As we leave around 6 o'clock, 4 more people will be close to death due to a drunk driving accident. And these could have all been prevented. With on the market breathalyzers and IIDs, they're well institutionalized, yes, but they're not necessarily efficient and more accessible, and we're here today to solve that. With Touchside, what we're doing is creating a dual sensor system that detects drivers' blood alcohol levels fully non-invasively with the use of fingerprint testing and also retina sensing. We're solely focused on the B2B space, solving this problem in the professional space alone. And we basically created a whole pitch deck to essentially show VCs or whoever interested in learning more about this product. And what we're going to accomplish next week is that we're going to do more and more research validation and customer validation. We're trying to cold contact a lot of people on LinkedIn, like I talked to a lot of people from American Airlines or the FAA to see what more and more people learn about what they're doing on the market. And right now we created a preliminary prototype based in Boston with our tech co-founders, and it's close to around 86% or 83%. That's it, thank you.
Having over 380 million monthly users, Roblox, which is like a YouTube for games where developers can come, create, and make money from their games, is now officially the world's largest and fastest growing game platform in the world. But what if I told you that despite there being 2.5 million developers on the platform, that fewer than 1% are actually making money from their games? Not because of oversaturation or because of lack of talent, but simply because these developers, despite having the talent to make great games, they often lack the funding, the resources, or the expertise in several business aspects of their game to succeed. That's why we at Young Bros help these developers by one, offering funding, offering an ecosystem of influencers with millions of subscribers for marketing, as well as giving these developers an ecosystem of developers to actually use to build their game out. In exchange for revenue share and funding, in exchange for revenue share and equity in their game. Take Jacob, a developer that we worked with in the past. Jacob struggled to get his game seen, despite it being, under his words, a really good fighting game. We provided Jacob with funding as well as our research on the platform's algorithm and marketing, and relaunched his game. And after relaunch, Jacob's game became one of the top fighting games on the platform, quickly selling to a larger game studio for over $500,000, despite it only taking us $15,000 to make. Using the money, Jacob was able to pay for college completely, as well as become a full-time game developer. And for us, we made over 50 times how much we invested in under 1 month. To date, currently, excluding the exits, we only have 4 small games, but with those games, we have an annual revenue of around 100 grand with 60 to 80% profit margins, depending on the game. And with Roblox only being the start, help these developers turn their games into businesses. What did we accomplish last week? Right now we have 2 games in the pipeline, so we're kind of like ramping up their marketing and their community, like giving them both plans on what to do so they can launch, hopefully beginning of March, end of March, to get the bump of players in spring break. And next week we plan to continue with that and hopefully help those games launch end of March. And one ask that I would be offering is if you have any experience in the gaming industry or have any experience with finding any kinks in business concepts, then that's what I need help with, so please come and reach out. But thank you.
Selling a company is a really long process. For each deal, it can take up to 3 to 6 months just because of the volume of documents and just how many steps there are in the entire due diligence process of buying and selling a company. And it really doesn't have to be this way. Most of the time, M&A analysts spend 80 to 90% of their time just sorting through files or just answering just these really repetitive questions that they get asked by every single buyer in their data room. And we're here to solve that. Here at Synopsys, we're building the world's first AI-native data room. What does that mean? That means that we're on top of having a very confidential data room platform, we're integrating AI deeply into these analysts' workflow to 10x their diligence speed. And just to give you a quick update on what we have been doing this last week, we've been working on our Y Combinator application, which is actually due today. And also, we have been in talks with our beta testers and finding more people to beta test our product. And also, in terms of new features, we have added chat histories, so anyone in your data room, the admins can look through what the viewers have been asking in their data room, just to give the sellers more clarity. And also, we've just been making our OCR system way more robust than ever before. So any kind of document you throw at it, it will parse through all of that text, and it will automatically use AI to index those documents into your data room for anyone to ask any questions on it, or for you to run AI agent workflows on them. So, yeah, and in terms of what we're going to be doing next week, we're going to be onboarding more beta testers, taking advantage of a lot of the warm intros that we're given, and really just make progress on iterating our product on top of user feedback. And that's Synopsis. It's really just Synopsis, but with an F, and thank you so much.
All right, last but not least. Hi everyone, I'm Justin. I'm working on Ducky. I want to first start by kind of explaining how students currently learn. So we have classes almost every day during the week. We go to them, we sit for around an hour or more, and afterwards we basically forget almost everything we've learned. Before an exam, we'll have to spend the week basically relearning everything, cramming, or force memorizing the actual material. And this takes away from true learning. After the exam, we basically forget everything again, and after the course, we forget everything again. For teachers, they need grades. They need you to take exams because they need to see how you do, and that's their only metric. And so this is a huge and very exhausting cycle for both students and teachers. And so we're building Ducky, which is an AI tutor where students can basically explain what they've learned to Ducky in their own words, and by doing so, it really helps them find their struggles and kind of exactly where they need to improve. While they're doing so, teachers can basically see exactly where the class struggles without having to rely on grades or wait for exams to come in, and they're much more proactive. And so the idea is that in the long term, Ducky will basically adapt to each student, learn how they learn, and will create basically this database, knowledge database of everything you've learned, how you learned it, where you struggled, all explained in your own words. And so if you ever forget anything, you can go back, and it's basically your second brain. So last week we worked on basically fixing some features. We have our YC application due today, and some other applications. For next week, I'm really hoping to basically finish the database stuff and connect it to the backend. That would be good, and it would help students a lot too. All right, thank you.
All right, great updates, everybody. Real quick, I skipped this slide. Just a quick peek at the guest mentors for next week. We have coming another great group, and Josh always emphasizes, I'm going to do it too. This is a very unique opportunity to talk to these mentors. Y'all should be challenging yourself to ask them the best questions you can, right? And I think Clint did a great job last week. We had the guy who launched Pokemon Go. Clint launches games. You got to ask him some really good questions. That was super insightful. Not only does that give you good examples, it also makes them interesting. Oh wow, these people really know what they're doing. So let's come with the good questions for mentors. Guest mentors, if there's a company that looks particularly interesting or relevant, please seek them out. Have a conversation, 10, 20 minutes, and then rotate through. I'm around. Isha, will you raise your hand? And Drew, a lot. We got Kyle in the back. So if you don't know who to talk to, come chat with us. We'll provide some recommendations. Guest mentor or lead mentors. Hang out with your teams as well, and we will break into office hours. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, great. Do you need me to sit here then? Yes. If you got it all covered? Absolutely. Okay. All right, so how can I help? I'm thinking about strategic partnerships or aligning with other companies. It's sort of like a book on it. We all generally help on aligning with bigger companies. I totally get what you're doing. Is there anything that comes to mind?
I would say probably our business model is where we're finding very good free launches for both pre-launch and post-launch.
like help them like push their games throughout. I would say there it might not be long term, but one thing that we have with like have done before is like partnered with big brands in exchange for like advertising. So how can I explain this? So like, have you heard of Roblox? Or like, of course, yeah. So right now, like a really big channel on Roblox is like a lot of brands coming to the platform and like using games to market their own brand. Such as like, there's been a game for essentially every large brand, Nike, Adidas, Puma, all of the above. There's a game Dress for Success where because it's like a dressing game, brands are using that game to insert their clothing, and as now you can buy clothing on Roblox directly. That's kind of like bridges the perfect path. One idea that we were having, and we kind of done before, is in one of our past games, we partnered with Walmart, and essentially they had a billboard in our game where it was kind of like a Walmart product billboard ad that we partnered with them and whatnot, and that brought some ad revenue for them. The one thing we were looking into is if it's a concept that's kind of different from our own, but we kind of would have a reputation because we don't build games, is going to brands and asking, hey, we build games, we can connect you all with developers, and then from there taking like a sliver. Though we didn't really know the implications as well as like brand partnerships, like that's not really our forte, so that's not something that like we thought we would be too comfortable in. Though would that actually be a viable business concept for us to do if we wanted to? That's actually another thing as well, because the way that we earn money is that we don't get it upfront. We only get it when the game launches. But in that aspect, we're working with brands, we're working with even larger studios to make their games. The money would pretty much be upfront. That would like eliminate all the risk that we have. Yeah. So what would you say that that's like a viable concept that could actually work, or do you think
Specifically, say me again, what's the viable piece that you're asking?
as in, could we go to brands and offer games that they can invest in or to make their game in exchange for money?
Well, I think in that case it would come down to then how does that game get out? Look, they'll do it if it means like there's a multiplier of I give you $50,000, but it's worth $500,000 in promotion or in brand presence or something like that. So how do you amplify? Like what's the success metric, or how would they do it? Where if you were to say go to a brand like Nike or something like that and say we've got these developers and we want to build. We can build something that's in your genre, a running game, or I don't know what it would be. Some aspect of the game that fits into their brand. You'd ask for some money up front, but how do you make sure that them paying for that up front is actually going to get them success? Because I would assume if you at scale, not all these are going to work. So how do you then, is there a way, or what's the magic for, let's say I were to give you money for my company, what's the magic to make sure, how does it get out there, how do we make sure that it works, because I don't want to do it if it's not going to happen. I'd just rather, I put it into social media or some other guaranteed exposure advertising. Now it's super interesting because it's not typical what's going on, so it could work really, really well, but can you somehow quantify for me, let's call it, there's no guarantee or probability, or how do I leverage to say, great, you built this game for me, this is what I want. Then is it on me to go out and get the exposure? It might be, and that might be okay, because I'm spending all this money anyway, and I want a unique asset to go out and spend the money on, or to promote and to get some engagement. So when I heard you talking up there, I felt like is your magic you find a developer, I'm like the guy who wants to build on Roblox, and I do it for my own fun with my buddies or something, and you amplify it. You basically say you can take that and you can start making money on that because you know how to market this game. Is that where you live in that process?
Yeah. Essentially, we give them like a golden ticket that says we can guarantee your game will make money and it will launch well if you work with us. And that's why a lot of developers, especially if they like have experience with failed games in the past, they don't understand why, because they can't read the metrics, they don't have enough they don't have enough experience quite literally. We essentially can give them like a golden ticket in this case, and that's kind of like how we that's the main
guarantee. Guarantee that this is going to get out there.
As in, it's kind of like we can guarantee that they'll get a certain player base, and with that player base, if it's kind of like I would say like a tier list, because the companies that we mainly work for or that we work with, or the developer teams, are ones that we think will succeed. So if we can guarantee them a player base off launch, if we can guarantee live ops or like sustainability, adding in tactics, like Walmart was a tactic that, okay, this is kind of like to elongate your game's lifespan or OTV for each player. If we can like add that, we can kind of like, we have an eye for which game will succeed if it gets that. So from there we can kind of like say, hey, your game will get a certain amount of players, and with that players based on this revenue factor, we will get this amount of money. So it's kind of like it's not like a guarantee the chicken will be successful, but it's more like a guarantee that your game will do pretty much, it'll do good.
Yeah. All right, well, so then I would say, if there's all these brands out there that are looking for alternative ways of engaging consumers, and you were a hub for it, like rather than me go and like research who's the top game developer on Roblox, and then I got to pay money, and then I'm still going to push the gaming, like my brand, because I have such brand presence. I am Nike, I'm a Walmart, I'm a whatever it may be. So I have a lot of reach. I just want a game that is designed based on my goals, and then I'll push it out there. I mean, sure, that would be really interesting. Giving you when you say pay up front, is that like 10 grand or is that like $1 million?
And that's actually the second question, because the thing with Roblox games is you can, it depends on what your goal is. So if I'm going to a company, let's say like Walmart, who's making an extreme amount of money, I could say, okay, this game is going to make $1 million a year if you invest this amount of money. But what they say, I don't know if that would be good enough compared to saying I can give you this amount of exposure. Though the revenue of the game might be limited because they're kind of like, you're taking out monetization in terms of like more retention, more exposure.
Well, I can't imagine Walmart or Nike is going to be interested in if they can make money.
Yeah, 10x their money off games. I don't think. Yeah,
that is not the value prop. They want connection.
Yeah.
Between brand and
yeah.
So. That makes sense to me. With all these, you're sort of you're sort of going after amateur enthusiast game developers and saying, hey, we can turn this into something. And then you're building that portfolio.
I don't know the exact metrics of Roblox besides games in terms of engagement for the player base, but if there has to be a way where you can do it cost per click, which is what Google does, of course, to measure the success of ads instead of to charge people for ads. Advertisers bid if they're saying how much they want to pay per click to Google, and that's how much Google charges them. Whoever the second one, they have a complicated system, but if you had a way to make a deal with a brand to say, hey, pay me $2,000, just throw that number out, and say, pay me $2,000, you're going to be the headline sponsor of this game. And we'll exclude that, we'll make that exclusive to you, and you're the one brand that's going to be associated with this game. For every, be it playtime, be it user, just basic plays, how many people go to shops, whichever metric that you might find that is most attractive to a brand, you can place like a 0.0001 cent charge on each one of those. To say, if we get 100,000 plays, you pay us 1 cent for every 100 plays. And that's our revenue from you. And that de-risks it quite significantly for them, but in their upside, they get exclusivity to you, and that de-risks it quite significantly for them to make sure they're not just going to pay you 20 grand if you have 20 players.
Well, here's the question there. And so I didn't know if you're looking for just advertisers or you're looking for something that's more where they're looking at more strategic. This is my game, which happens. But if I I was in that position, wouldn't I just go to a game that's out there right now that has a shit ton of features and go, I'll just buy X amount of ads on there to get my exposure, versus like wait, all right, you got to develop it, then like this might take, if you can get me X amount of clicks, that's going to be over a 6 or 9 month window. That's not interesting to me because I have media that I'm spending now for this month, and I want a campaign. I want to run the campaign for it. So, but if it's something where you're saying, look, we've got this type of game, this would be perfect, like you talked about the dress game, and that's perfect for, let's say, Stitch Fix, right? Which is not brand dependent on just jeans. Basically, we're going to help you with your fashion, right? So then they're like, shit, I would love a game to distribute to all my subscribers where they can use, and we'll load up the latest fashion that we want to push that's coming out in Stitch Fix box next month. And then each month they're changing that. Right now there's continuity. They already have a base on the stores, and they want the game as an asset. It's not really an advertising play as much as it's a game play. So there's multiple ways to go about it. I would be concerned though with the buyer, like I said, well, how long is this going to take me to get these impressions? I like your idea of like, look, pay $2,000 or it's an advance against what you're going to get, so you're going to get the results out of it. But it's like, over what period of time?
Good point. I don't know. I can't say that I know the Roblox economy and advertising all that well, but I imagine that it's, with the biggest games out there, it's getting pretty competitive to get those slots. If you were to make at least to start with what you're doing, to make yourself competitive in that industry of games, here's our track record, here's our games. This might take, these 2 games to get out before you start doing this one next year, to say, here's our track record, we hit, pretty well, and here's our model. To make it seem like to them, the overall effect of a partnership with us is more valuable than just one game's success over a short or a long period of time, because we're going to have X number of games over X amount of time to make this a more attractive offer. So you're kind of getting around the immediate quick fix that a lot of these brands are looking for. Google gives you your quick fix almost immediately to see impressions, and that's of course really important to a lot of marketing people that have studied marketing and look, it's incredibly fast. So
I would just start with, why do you need to scale right now? Just get 10 million for some period of time. Like 10 will then turn to 20, turn to 50, turn to 100. But you can't jump in too fast without proving. Once you prove it, either a publisher will come or you'll figure out how to publish it at a greater scale, hire more people, do whatever you need to do. But, Uber had to start somewhere with, in one market saying, all right, we're going to start Uber X and we'll get some drivers and people who have cars and see if it works. Then they had, and people weren't even considering being a taxi driver in their own car. You got to start somewhere. And then ultimately, then you'll have so much scale because now enthusiast developers are going to be like, I want to be involved with this. How do I get one? And then you're going to be curating, going, no, winner, no, winner. Like that's the ideal situation. But why do we scale so quickly when you don't have a, have someone touch me?
The thing was, essentially this game product that we're working on right now, this has been kind of like the example with Jacob. Jacob was the concept proof of okay, he was the first person where if we invest in this game, if we give it what we know, because the thing is Jacob, he went through the same difficulties as he did when we were launching our first game. Because we actually started off in the studio and then we went into this concept. So that was kind of like the concept validated. So from there, with this concept we're working on right now, or not the concept, but these games that we're working on right now, if these go as successful as we want it to be, then the next thing, especially with like the upper limit of Roblox, I would say, would be to probably like increase the system. Because right now we can only work on like 2, 3 games max, just based on how much people we have on the team. So kind of like the next steps of like becoming a bigger team, becoming a bigger company in general, would be to get more games under our belt. And that's kind of like, when I mean scale, I mean like, okay, how can we like have this same concept at work, but like at like a larger scale?
So raise money. Money solves all of it, right? You either can grow organically or go do a VC round when you're ready to, or bring in X dollars around. Then you don't have to worry about growing based on how much revenue is being brought in by each individual game. You know, you're going to lose money for a while, but you're going to say, I want to have 100 games, not 3, and therefore, you know, dollars from 100 games comes in a lot faster than dollars from three games that you're going to learn in between. So there's 2 ways to scale. There's 2 ways. You either grow organically or you just go raise money, make that happen that way. But you can't force, I mean, I don't know how you'd economically force just hiring more people to scale more games without having to revenue.
That would be after the game. So we should have this.
Okay, so then, so then what, I guess I still don't understand what I understand if you have a platform of people because you had all these games coming through, but is it really hard to find games?
I would say it's hard to find games. I would say it's more of, because like right now, it's kind of like, we validated the concept with like this small amount of people and like kind of like a controlled environment where we're very hands-on in the game. So to do that, and kind of like the examples where like a company, like if you were to invest up to $2 million or $10 million into marketing, would your company grow exponentially? Or like where would the funds be on the path? Like right now, if I feel like if we try to scale and like just get more games under our belt, get more teams, because of how hands-on we are right now, we wouldn't be able to scale that. So right now we're trying to find a way where we can like scale without like going through, I would say like team students, like the game, or like the process like different teams. I don't know.
I'll just say in my experience, you're going to try things and fail over and over and over again to get those kids out. You can't buy your way out of those kids. Because even at any scale, at any level, you're failing. Have to crap is just not working. So I think you have to embrace that. That learning curve is really, really valuable, and that's where when you're raising money, the fact that you went through that and worked those things out actually makes you more valuable, more attractive to ones that you have more money. So embrace those things. I still think. And you'll raise money at a higher valuation if you get 10 on your belt. There's no way to, I mean, unless you're a serial entrepreneur. This company, I did a PowerPoint, I've raised millions of dollars off the PowerPoint. That's only because I've been through this over and over again. Worked from the organic side, to then have a proof of concept, to then go raise capital. And then at some point, you don't have to do that. But that doesn't mean that then even after, that was just for raising money, but then I still had to learn a ton and so much stuff didn't work to then get to the next raise. You know, so I don't know how, I guess I'm not, we all want to scale faster. Like this is the universal truth. I'd love to go faster. You can't go faster. And even money sometimes can go wrong with that process. Well, because you'll need to scale. So, you know, investors are very, very good and they're very useful and they should be a positive to your business. So if I told you, you know, you can grow and get to $1 million over 3 years without raising money, or you give up 20% of your company, you can get $1 million of revenue in 6 months. In the end of the day, you've given up equity, but which one is worth more? The one who's generated $1 million in revenue in 6 months, and then now the next 6 months is $1.5 million, and then the following 6 months is $2.5 million, and the next 6 months $5 million, versus taking 3 years to do $1 million. The other one, you have a smaller slice, 80% instead of 100, over a much larger cost. So, you can grow organically, and it takes longer unless you're on some viral coefficient craziness that can happen, and it doesn't mean it can't happen. So, but if you want to grow faster, it takes money. Or a ton of sweat equity, and you can only go sweat equity so long before you want to be paid. But all of your team, I've never seen it where you can go past 5 people before the sixth person needs to have some sort of paycheck. Right? So it's all those things. But this is the most fun process right here. From my perspective, that 0 to something, and then when you get to 0 to 1, it's amazing. So I know we're off the topic of strategic, but that's okay. I've raised a lot of money. Every one of my companies, I've raised venture money, a lot of money over the years. And I've found it necessary and valuable at the time if you pick the right investors. There's an art to raising capital to make sure you never do a down round. There's all these things around that. But capital and capital efficiency is important. But if you don't have your metrics down, you're not raising money. So the only way to get those, you can get an understanding of your business in 10 games. I mean, maybe it's 7 games, it's 5 games, maybe it's 15 games, I don't know. But it's not 1 game. It's not 3 games.
More questions in terms of raising funds in general. So like a game price, that's a concept. What would you be like looking at how much business repeatability, as in like, what can you do this repeatedly over long time?
So I would think supply is no problem. The supply of gamers that want to develop games is probably infinite. Now, most of them suck, but there is that enthusiasm out there. Is that fair to say? Okay. So of all of them, let's say you're looking for the cream of the crop, the top 5%. So then you're going to need a scaling process around vetting these things. And the more you can do with AI and everything else and whatever, that would be great. So I think everyone's going to buy into the supply side is infinite. It's now your success rate with picking the game, and then your success rate with exploiting the game. Let's call it exploiting, where you're leveraging the crap out of it for the benefit of the developer plus your benefit. So those are the key metrics. If you can prove to me that this is repeatable, and again, I believe the supply side is there, because there's just so many talented people out there. But the question is, why are you the one to make it successful? Prove to me that you can make it successful, and I put money in it. But if you haven't proven it on a concept, I would say go prove it, get around repeat it. And don't prove it once, you gotta prove it repeatedly. So I believe, great, go find the next one and knock it out of the park. And whatever money you need to scale that money will come. Yeah. Because it's a very scalable business. If you can get through the vetting process of picking which games will be the winners. Right? So you'll have some formula that you're going to create. This fits into it, we're looking for this, or you put it out for bid. Like, hey, we need a game built on this platform for a clothing company. Come up with it. It's like the reverse. It's like Fiverr for gamers, right? You're gonna post a job. I want this type of game for, you don't say Nike, but let's just say you have Nike lined up. They're gonna pay you. If they need a game that specifically does this level of gamification, you want to use it in stores, whatever it may be, you'll figure that out. And then you're gonna have these guys bidding on it, and they're gonna come up with their concept, like an ad agency in a sense. They come in like, you can do this with your brand and all this other stuff. And I don't know, essentially what it is. Is that what you've done? that's my point. It proves, and you don't have to go big right away. Right now, you're just trying to find 5 games, 10 games that you can really prove. And it's okay if it only goes so far, because you can say, look, if we had this money, X amount of dollars more, then we could have put that into the promotion of that game. And that we have proven that when we spend $1, we get $3 or $5 in advertising. I don't know what their economic model is in advertising. Is there another economic model besides that?
There is influencer marketing, but that's like, it's a bit different because it's, at least the way that we do it is a lot lower expenses compared to like how much you're getting. And that's not like, because we give them like a value, that's something different. But it's actually the same way of where, okay, we give them this value that they give us like this amount of like,
Alright, cool. Alright, I'm gonna rotate. Who is this guy? Who is he? Is he part of your team? The guy that's sitting?
No, he was a
capital guy. Okay, cool. I thought I got it. I understood what you were doing. I mean, I read the profile, so I had some sort of idea. I got it. I don't know what it was last week, but I think I got the gist. Especially sitting here, I did rediscover something. So, whatever he was using to find those words, I understood and I got, okay, this is a platform where you're finding talent, enthusiasts. I looked at it as you're finding enthusiasts. My son, who's a big gamer, who's doing his own wacky thing on Roblox for him and his buddies. I know he's not. I'm just saying he's a big gamer, but he's PC gaming and it's not Roblox. But he was like that. I'm assuming this is what you're looking for. You're looking for talent that already built on the Roblox platform. And you're saying, I can go beyond, I can amplify you, I can make that great, I can bring in sponsors, we know how to promote. We're experts in distribution of games. That's what I use. Yeah, I think so. I'm happy now. All right? We're fine. You're always on. The pitch is always going to change to get better and you listen to more people and listen to yourself sometimes like that. All righty? All right, great. Nice meeting you. Good luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was like, that's the pitch that I usually give when I'm trying to like get the game, like the concept of like what Roblox is, like the company is, like as direct as possible.
Your executive set is 100. No, it's fine. I'm telling you. So just go on and track I'm still working on figuring out whether somebody is on
I forgot my backpack. It was a mess. Right now, how we operate is that we get like a certificate. We get money from that, and then from there, it's kind of like there's crossing, and then like the amount of money that's like reinvested in the game, reinvested inside like the publishing company or like Young Bros. What would you say is like as in like if you invest in the game makes $1 million, you take home $600,000. How much would you say
should pay for yourself
versus reinvesting in the company. Like out of early stage. I think we say that.
My institute does that. What do you do? When you say reinvesting, what does that entail?
That would entail like having capital to like the investment does. Like when we're investing in games, if it hasn't launched, we have like we have money on hand. If we don't save up money for that, and again, that's kind of like kind of go back and forth because maybe we don't need any money, but like the capital there, capital is investing in games, infrastructure, but it's kind of like.
That's usually, I mean, it's part of your budget. So like in the act, you put together an annual budget. No.
No, we actually.
The reason why I mentioned the budget is because the budget allows you to know what you need. So for instance, if I have a company and I set up a budget in September, and that budget allows me to hire, rent, travel, spend, whatever for the company. Then by September next year, I can look at how much I spent and I can reconcile it against the budget I set up for September. And that gives me an idea whether I need more money or less. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So like it's just essentially building budgets, reconciling it with expenditures. And because now you don't have a budget, so you don't have a budget. All you need to do is look at what you needed in the past year. Just reconcile all your expenses or whatever you need for your company. And then say this is how much I want to invest. Does that make sense? Because this is how much I spent last year. Means that, let's say, it cost you $2,000 investment in the past on various things, whether it's computers or hiring someone, or consultants, or going to a gaming event. Like you add up all of those expenses and start the year with, go to your partners and say, this is our budget, this is our investment. I call it budget. Because when you say investment, like buying computers, buying.
Yeah, or investing in another game project, another game project.
Yeah, so that would be like the business side of things, but it's the same. Say it cost us last year this much money to invest to buy this product, and it wasn't enough. So I think we should add to it more. Say, if there's too much, we have something left. Right?
Yeah. You know the concept of like a lifestyle business versus like a, I don't know what the other word is, like a scaling business. Lifestyle.
Oh, lifestyle.
Yeah, lifestyle business versus like a scaling business. Or like the other business concepts.
I mean, I'm familiar with lifestyle business. So like if you're selling certain products, you're a lifestyle business.
Or when I mean lifestyle, I mean like a company that is, it's not made to scale. It's kind of made to like,
Okay. So you're not gonna. I want to give you an example so we're on the same page. Lifestyle kind of means a company, for instance, that provides services that are right? Like you're not, even if you try to scale it, you're not gonna like Israel.
like it's something, yeah, I mean that's supposed to be like,
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of like, so what I'm asking is because, like for the current like studio that we have now, the way it kind of like works is, we're trying to see.
It's more of a lifestyle.
I wouldn't say it's like our life, but it's like, but I feel like because it's so like like for the thing that we have now, if it makes like a middle two or then that's 65%. Or we have 25 cents weekend, then that's like 500 grand coming back in the studio, and that's just because it's like it's through like in a business entity, but it's because it's like my brother's business entity. It essentially becomes a lifestyle. So I wanted to see like, is there? But then again, the thing is that is kind of it can still scale, as in we can still get more like a game publisher. Technically, isn't a lifestyle, kind of. But I don't know. It kind of goes through like a weird limit because like we don't have too much developers. He's just me and my brother, and every developer that we do is a contractor. So there is no like there's no outsourcing. So I don't know if it's like shooting. Not just stop us from becoming a lifestyle, but like I don't know.
Trying to scale.
Yeah, that might be, I don't know if...
I think you're just, I mean, how long have you been doing this?
The content? I would say around like 1 to 2 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just a matter of patience, and like you said, you need to have more under your belt. Because let's say you go to a publisher or to an investor now. You are in a you have a bunch of games under your bets, and only three of them were successful. Then you go in from strength to strength, right? Going into the and if you look at these investors are not going to invest in that you're putting out there. It's not. When you figure out how scale it up, and you keep showing that you have done it, and you just need certain supports to get it where it needs to get, then it becomes a business. Because the number of stuff for you, when writing stuff, young, $500,000 is a lot of money to sell it for anybody who invests in the world or that's still not very small. And I see what you mean by
cash flow like around 5 to 3 mil a year, and it's still not really in terms of like, unless it's possible to scale, and then from there we're going from 5 to 10 to whatnot, getting that away. I feel like different like tech company like Twitter would have a product and probably just like
other companies are doing it. The formula, and that formula you have to put it down.
The fun part of like, because we haven't seen other game publishers, we didn't even get a conference of
There's a bunch of game publishers out there that have, there's one game, Blue Mobile. Blue Mobile sold for $2 billion. What I need to do is AI.
because it's kind of like repeating the work of job. But we're doing a lot of research into like using that to like make 3D models so we can like developers. So we don't have to use our content and stuff like that. We're also using it to make our
smart developers.
Yeah, they're doing it. And then we're also using it for our operations and to like make like documents. So how it currently works is, and these like kind of like the typical things, because I do a lot on the manual, but how it works in our in operations is like for a game it has a contract with effects whatnot. Let's say like a music artist or whatnot. How it would work is that we send them a task, and the task would say, hey, make music for these songs, right? And then inside the task it would have like the music that he needs to make, references to other music that sounds what we're looking for, the vibe, the theme, what it's gonna be, like a picture of like like how long the video that he needs to like make the music. So we're trying to find a way to use AI to like automate that process. So I mean, we can eliminate that like process, or where like the game designer has to like make it all by hand and then like send it out, and then they have to like do it. So we're trying to find ways to do that, and that's not including like just coding like in the actual game how that's making use. That kind of like goes like programming. That's not like the two that we're using AI to like optimize the process. I was looking at AI and like finding a way to, I don't know if we cost it, validating it, or like see if we can be validating with AI. So I don't know how to AI would have to like play the game, or would have to like use metrics. There's already a system that can predict how much a game makes in a month. I don't know if AI would use some sort of algorithm. So I think if that's possible, then like someone being able to like understand the game, that goes like, if someone made that product, it would become very popular. Actually, I'm actually ask my friend. She's actually doing something to do on the platform.
So, for next week, yeah, it's good to look at your I thought you did a good job.
Like, is there any point like you felt like it was like hard to understand? Or I guess if you didn't understand it, you
No, I think it's always I'm just trying to get to the point where yeah, make sure that you put out there's no reason why there's AI that can just like, you know, I don't have my phone. The comments that I got was, nothing about robotics. So the money is there. You just have to figure out how to scale robots. A big company or a publisher that needs
or is that like actual question? Or is that like past 2 weeks, I think they might have topped over the largest purchase. They bought this game, like this game thing. They rent. No, they bought it. One of the largest games on the platform. So I think something over 100 million. Yeah, definitely. That's actually a good. Like, is there any publishers making over 50 million? That's actually a very good question.
I mean, and that should be part of your pitch. Because you need to convince whoever you're talking to. If you have something that you know, you need to convince whoever you're talking to that you are worth investing in or worth doing. I was telling you, any company that makes over $50 million or a publisher, look at them and work backwards.
Is there one? Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure Vortex, they recently bought a game for $100 million, like, I think it was the past week. And I'm sure that game does, with like the other games, over $50 million. But this is not much. Now I'm thinking about, like, this is very few. Like Vortex, maybe Game Fair, but like, unless it's rival, I can't think of that.
But what makes those games successful? Going back to like building your own formula, what makes those games that more successful?
Tell us about the game that got. So what's the game that got? Essentially the most basic game on Roblox, or that can see. It was like a role-playing game where kids would go, teenagers would go, they would like have like a house, and they would be able to like have like essentially, it was like the biggest role-playing game in the classroom. This is like very, we're at 160 million, 120 million monthly active players. 60 million. Is that 60 million all time? 60 million all time. What does it take for one of the games to get but the thing with Brookhaven is there's probably games that have a higher value than Brookhaven because the thing with Brookhaven is they don't make that much revenue with other playing games. So it's very, very possible. So the game would have to be essentially the best game of its genre on the platform, or like around the top 3. Yeah. So that would be the goal. How long is Brookhaven? I wanted to tell you, I was going to tell you here, but I do apologize. I haven't called that yet. What's up, Russell? Hey, how you doing? Clint? Russell. Well, young Rose. That sounds good. It sounds really impressive what you've done, helping us gamers and platform monetize it. Is anybody else doing this? These guys just like left on their own? I mean, there's just like all these gamers and they're kind of doing stuff and then they just, don't know how. I mean, it makes sense, it's kind of like somebody writes a book, like you're an author. And the authors are terrible at like getting their books out in the marketplace and promoting it. You need like a publisher or somebody. So you're like, maybe a publisher, a publishing house for these gamers. Not exactly like she can help them actualize what they're doing. That's kind of the concept. I would say we're lot of publishers, what they do is that they wait till the end of the launch. They look at this like in the first few weeks to see if it's doing well, and then they invest in it. So one thing that we recently did is that we can take that in, review its potential, and then from there we kind of like see that if we need to the research that we've done, the money that we have, is good having. So that's kind of like where
how do you determine the potential? I mean, because then you're making a bet on the game. And are you guys going with your gut, or are you sort of developing the analytics to figure out, okay, this one's more likely? Because then you're like me, I'm like looking at all these different companies, and I'm just sort of making a bet on the company. And it's like you said, traditional publishers, I'm kind of more like a traditional publisher. I can make a better bet on the company if they've got customers and revenue.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's really hard to predict.
Hi everybody, sorry to interrupt. Just a quick reminder, please remember to complete the attendance QR code. And if anyone needs a parking validation, please let me know. All right, thank you.
That could be your secret sauce, though. I mean, gosh, if you figure that out, that's like the whole brand. You look at 10 and you go, that's gonna be a winner. It's like you're picking movie stars or something.
There's a lot more risk, but with more risk comes a lot of good rewards.
So, what's your approach? How do you find sorting? Are you using like AI or something? Sifting? Is it strictly on Roblox?
So right now it's mainly on Roblox. That's because all the in terms of shooting, there are a lot of factors that we use inside. So I would say it's kind of like betting on our own resources that we develop themselves. Like there's certain genres of games that we know make certain amounts more, or like 7 to even 10x more revenue than other type of genres. So that's a big factor. The developers themselves, the team, how big their team is, how much they need funding to launch the game, and kind of like we have our core team are a lot of people who have released successful games that have over 100 million, 150 million visits on the platform. So we kind of use them as like, look into this game, do you feel like this game is good, what are the games? And then from there we talk to the developers, okay, if we want to work with you, this one we want to change, and here's what it's by. And from there it becomes like a balance of what we feel like risk. And
what is your team? Is it in your background? Have you been just doing tons of different things and develop different things? I guess you're on the platform. Yeah. Or you've used it to promote games. Yeah. And is it just you or is it multiple?
Yeah. So we started off as like a regular game package. That's kind of what we were. Oh, yeah. Me and my brother. So we're still 50-50. I'm a programmer. I used to be a programmer. And we used to be a contractor. And then from there, we kind of like released a few games, a lot of success, and then we started like helping people kind of like found that this concept would be something that was really good. And like we realized that it was all more scalable than we think. So from there we kind of like pivoted it and started doing something with that.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. What's the plan? How do you scale it, or do you want to scale it? Do you just work through the areas? How do you come up with genres? What genres do you like?
The genres we like are more serious. So the games where we get start with a small store, like kind of like Pokemon. You start with a small store, you fight, you get a bigger store, you get stronger, because those videos often have the most dedicated fan base, a lot better retention, monetization, just measures in general. Compared to another game like role playing, where if you're playing with like your friends and there's a lot more social, but depending on the measures that you're trying to get, you could get more retention, but that wouldn't be equal amount of retention you get. And in terms of scale, that's actually something that we're trying to figure out currently, and find a way to where we can right now go from having just doing the pipeline to go from doing to 5 to like 10 to 15 million all the way. And we're trying to kind of find a balance of, okay, do we invest in bangers and then be a bit more hands-on and then from there, or do we lower our presence, be a lot more hands-off, and be able to expand the team and have multiple projects to where, okay, we can be a lot more, we can have a higher chance of being a banger, but at the same time we're a lot more hands-off, so the banger, the model return of it will be that big. So we're kind of like trying to find a balance.
Yeah.
That's kind of like something that we're doing right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that thought process. And I guess you could try a little of both. And it also maybe depends on your information. But I've seen that with investors too. Like 500 startups. They're like, putting money in 500 startups and they're not, but I've seen these other niche investors and they're like only going to do, 5 or 6, but they want to be pretty active in the company. It's kind of like Warren Buffett. It's like, I'm just going to make 5 or 6 investments and I'm really going to look at them carefully. Other people are like, diversify. It's like, no, I don't want to diversify. I'm going to have 2 eggs in the basket, and I'm going to watch those eggs really closely. So it depends on your kind of information. I personally, from talking with you, get the feeling that you're going to come out better if you don't overdo it and you kind of focus on a few, because then you give them attention. It's kind of like having kids. You have like all these kids and you forget, what's your name by the time you're not giving them any attention. It's kind of hard. Whereas if you have you're like right you're right in the middle of it. Yeah. So you can really give a few kids or a few gamers your attention and maybe increase the odds of success.
I'll put a good word in this. Thank you.
Good job, Nick. Where's Josh anyways?
Somewhere, I don't know. He just asked me to show up and I'm here. So.
That's good. Can't keep tabs on it.
No, don't even try.
Yeah, I like that.
You going back? Apple Factory now?
No. What?
Yeah, I do my 3rd tour of the year.
Oh. So you're kind of like bouncing I don't know what the boomerang. Yeah, you're going boomerang. Yeah.
They make me get offers. I can't refuse.
Oh, that's good. Well, so Young Bros, I totally love it. It's like, is anybody else doing it with games? It's like you're an agent, you're like, you're a scout, you're like looking for the next Michael Jordan game, you kind of see the talent. So what's the value that you bring? How do you pitch them? How do you sell them? How do you convince them to go with you?
I would say, especially in games that we see have like high potential, like it just run the platform and was pushed the right way, it would become a really successful game. You essentially try to offer them a guarantee or avoiding ticket that the game working with us, you will be guaranteed to be successful. And that through marketing, such as like influencer marketing, based on how we run it, is a very low expense but a high return of when it comes to the game. They have immediate pillars of loss. and through our ecosystem of developers, of where if they don't have a developer, they don't have to worry about that. We connect them with someone that we know, and if they don't like that, we have a pool of whatever they would need to achieve that. And also, operational infrastructure, if you don't have that, which a lot of times is very much, a lot of organized teams that have a really good idea. So all of the business aspects of brand partnerships, if let's say they feel like or in the future they want to merchandise or they want to work with the brand or they want to Nike or any other, we can help them with that based on our experience. So essentially is we're funding really big. If they need money or anything, we can come with that as well. So everything that they would essentially need to be able to launch and be carefree in the making process. And with almost no expense up front at least because we're taking the risk of their name on launch. There's a lot of merchants like they don't have any, they wouldn't be able to pay us for what we need to do.
Right. Yeah. And how do you do the infrastructure? How do you provide that? What is the infrastructure? You've already got some people, systems, software.
Right now, we kind of have a server where we hold all of our company essentially. So on the server, each person has they have a spot where they have contact to all of our developers. Any influencers that they want to get in contact to, we can come up with their concerns. And then from there, we kind of like show them, here's all that we have. If you want to get them to somebody who needs help. And then from there, we set up meetings with them as well. I mean, anything they need for the game, whether that's really, it's kind of like, that's what I think is going on. It's really like it's an open conversation in terms of what they need and what they can provide.
Yeah, okay. That's not so much infrastructure, is it? I was thinking like accounting or something else.
Like infrastructure for the actual game?
Yeah. You're helping them read their analytics and what they're doing right, what they're giving you advice about what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. Data Roblox provides plenty of developers to help them. I think to help this story a lot, we really go into a few of these developers we work with from foreign countries haven't tapped into high value American markets. You're helping them be able to translate that to America. And then when you tell the story about it, like when you put this, you're really great if you're able to get across this emotional response with the plots. This one game changed the life of the developers who worked with. He's from, what country was he from? The developers who the game crew, I guess, crew was he was from. So you can say like, hey, you changed this guy's life with the amount of money that he was really was touch on it a little bit. They were able to education and stuff like that. Not only that, he wasn't able to reach the U.S. market, which is the highest segment of Roblox players, because that's the most money generating segment of Roblox players. We were able to translate his game into that market. And that's really the infrastructure we provide. I think what Russell might have been what you guys are doing and doing that. So that's a lot of the infrastructure that being able to communicate like that might be helpful in this place.
Yeah, that's powerful. That story, that fact.
If you're looking at other developers in Romania, it's one of them, right? And the US dollar is quite farther than foreign countries. And to be able to really lean on that and say, if you're golden ticket analogy, you're giving the golden ticket to the US markets, to the US influencers, getting in front of those people, those money earnings, keeping that in that frame provide. And in of itself, to a lot of developers, just that alone is great. That's something they might want to do revenue sharing with that. Then you stack on top of more blocks as you kind of build a story to developers, investors,
still eliciting that emotion. You have a really great, almost a one of a kind here in the Roblox community. So, to get that across in a way that makes people understand that, every tech person wants to think that they're changing the world, and every investor wants to think that they're getting money to change the world. And if you can, without saying it, don't say it, but make them think it in the back of their head, they're helping someone else on the other side of the world. Very few options. They really get a better success. Really good way to do it. I know I kind of missed that I wanted to. You've already done this. It's really great to highlight that. And especially saying, like, these guys are so overlooked. When you first talked about 99% of games don't make money. These foreign developers are so overlooked by the wider industry. It's something that we've taken advantage of. Differentiators for us is that we help these developers into these good markets. And I would avoid the guarantee word, but say drastically increase their success rates. Player base is attracted through marketing in the U.S. audience. Along those lines. Russell, are you coming to more of these, or are you going to?
I feel like I want to come to more, just because I only got to see a few, but I'm going to want to talk to you more years. It seems really interesting. It's like crazy. We've got this massive platform, and how do you sort through it? How do you get it? There are different ways. You can just see all the games that people are developing. Is it sort of public? Easy to see?
It's not. That's actually something very interesting. Right now it's very organic because we're kind of known in the community as helping. We're known as the helpers develop. We use to help developers a lot. My brother has a social media page where he would sensitize his maybe here's a game about playing, and then from there a lot of people do that organically. Though if we're trying to scale that, then it will go into really targeting developers that haven't released a game, so that we can't really see it until it's released. That makes sense. It's a really it's a market that's very interesting right now.
Yeah. It is tricky, so it's word of mouth. I mean, that's another thing that occurred to me as Leonard was talking. It's kind of like if you guys, you could do things to market yourselves or promote yourselves or kind of have a brand. Maybe it's an event or you win a prize or it's this or that. Game Jam.
Which is like, a Game Jam's a really cool thing where you get like 200 people.
It's like a hackathon for games.
24 hours you have to make a game hack plays.
Yeah.
First place wins a deal with you guys.
Right. Yeah.
Do this in the Roblox contest, have people vote on games and stuff like that. That could be really cool.
That'd be a very.
I actually looked it up. There hasn't been a Roblox Game Jam that I found on Google in the last 4 years. Really cool.
That'd be really good when you like trying to find developers to like
a lot of people submitting stuff.
That's actually that's a really good.
Is your brother on Twitch? He's the one with the big platform.
Yeah, he's on TikTok. He's not really a streamer, but he was into YouTube. But then the company just like stole all of his time before he went into that.
Where is his biggest audience? TikTok? And that's where you have your game?
Yeah, I'm marketing right there.
And actually,
That's a good idea.
And then you guys may end up having a problem where you get too much inbound companies, and then they're not, they're not necessarily the quality you want, so then you've got to sort of sift through them.
That's why, that's the formula.
Yeah, that's the formula. Yeah, the network. And he was asking me, how do I invest and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of partly a network. Like I get a lot from Capital Factory and other entrepreneurs, and your network, and so developing your network and the gamers that you trust and that you like. If they refer somebody, you're going to listen to it, much more. And then for me, I've just sort of developed criteria a little bit, but one of the big ones is the people. You want to get sort of good people, so like, hardcore, I don't know, developers, they're really good with graphics, or good with the theme or the story. I love the concept about genre. I mean, like if you're investing in movies, it's like horror is like a safer genre than, some other one. For me, like I said, I like to see traction on previous days. I don't like horror.
thank you so much for coming.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, getting up on the witching hour here anyway. I don't remember it really well, except that we were leveraging off the platform. I generally, it's coming back to me a little bit. I sort of, the thing that made me stand up is like, we put in 15,000 and we had a 50x return. I was like, what? Okay, I'm very interested in this one. And I wanted to hear more about some of the previous successes and stuff. So that is really big. Yeah. Are we connected? We got it. I keep running into you. We got it connected.
I know, let's connect. Let's connect.
Are we on LinkedIn or should we just
I think we are on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
No, I think we have I usually, it works every time because you're this got all these boxes there. It's on left. So you turn off the the old-fashioned way?
Sorry.
Share or call?
When are you coming next?
Okay. Cool. I don't know. I'm going to have to
Yeah, so I meant
I want to talk to you about fusion sometime.
Yeah, talk to me. I used to
Is it going to happen?
Yes, it's happening.
You think so? I'm so skeptical. I'm like a total, physics guy. No, I wish I knew you had that. I'll do it next time. People park into the Good job on all this stuff. Yeah. Thanks for kind of nudging me along there. Helping us out.
I was with the
You're honestly kind of right, but it's kind of like, yeah, I just, yeah.
No, that's so valid. The thing is, I don't need to deal with the company. It's like,
I see.
I don't have access to the money. So I just email the person and they just tell me when it's going to be coming. That's literally the process. I don't really,
You don't do it,
I don't deal with the money. I deal with like the canvas, if there's any issue with that.
Yeah, it's gonna
Stuff,
yeah. It's gonna be
you have access to it. It's almost
consistent.
right? We're going to post this on Instagram. I don't know why the AWS thing.
What's AWS? Oh, yeah.
So like that stuff, I just kind of deal with more directly. Like people who work in
Then is there like, so do managers like notifications for like getting notifications?
I emailed them and I just talked to the lawyer and they like staff about it. Again, like I don't really like have access to the money, so I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, no, that's
but you will get, by the end of the semester, you will have your $1,000.
Yeah.
I just don't know when it comes. When they tell me that.
Yeah, no, I've
He locked you in. Yeah, he takes advantage of people like that. You're the new gal on the block.
I am the new
Hey,
gal.
you gotta like, you know, help.
Every time he comes, I'm like,
He's good though. He really kind of adds dimension to our lives. Hey, really good to meet you too. Yeah.
but yeah,
All right. Whose umbrella is this? All right.
I just come in back next week.
Yeah, I'll look at the schedule if I'm around. Is it every?
Every Tuesday. It's available next Tuesday.
Yeah, let me see. I think we're trying. Hey, mister.
Yeah. Hey, I actually have
Okay. Your party is 4 to 6 on Tuesday. 4 to 6 on Tuesday. How do you like it? Are we connected?
We are connected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good stuff. Good seeing you.
Yeah,
Thank
likewise.
you.
Yeah, I got it.